For the first 29 years of his life, Prince Siddhartha Gautama lived inside an environment engineered to exclude any hint of physical or emotional pain. His family maintained this total isolation within a palace complex in ancient India, ensuring his world remained an uninterrupted sequence of comfort and luxury. That security shattered during a series of chariot rides outside the palace walls. Siddhartha encountered 4 sights that his father had worked decades to hide: an old man, a sick man, a corpse, and a wandering ascetic. For the first time, he was forced to confront the reality of age, disease, and the inevitability of death. Convinced that his royal status offered no protection against these universal human experiences, he initiated the Great Renunciation. Siddhartha abandoned his political inheritance and his family, walking into the forest to find an answer to the problem of existence. He initially pursued an answer through extreme physical deprivation. For 6 years, he subjected his body to brutal self-mortification, reducing his food intake until he reached the brink of starvation. But he found that exhausting the body only clouded the mind. He realized that severe asceticism was as ineffective as his previous life of indulgence. Neither extreme offered a way out of the cycle of suffering. Siddhartha eventually settled beneath a Bodhi tree in present-day Bodh Gaya, a site now marked by the towering stone spire of the Mahabodhi temple. It was here, through deep meditation, that he achieved awakening and became the Buddha. His initial teachings provided a direct assessment of the human condition. The first noble truth defines dukkha, the chronic unsatisfactoriness and pain inherent in existence. The second noble truth identifies the cause, an endless, desperate craving to possess things that are by nature impermanent. To explain why we cling to the world, the Buddha introduced the concept of anatman, or non-self. As this diagram illustrates, the human being fractures into 5 temporary physical and mental elements known as the aggregates. There is no permanent, unchanging soul at the center. These aggregates only exist through the principle of dependent origination. This glowing web represents the interdependence of all things. Our reality is a constant flow of temporary, conditional causes and effects, rather than a collection of independent objects. Suffering arises when we fail to see this. We experience psychological pain because we relentlessly try to attach a permanent identity to a system that is constantly shifting and inherently empty. The Buddha's insights into the mind were mirrored by a massive vision of the external universe. This cosmology describes samsara, a cycle of endless rebirth and death. The mechanism is fueled by karma, a law where every intentional action creates a specific reaction, ensuring the cycle continues across lifetimes. Early practitioners mapped this universe with Mount Meru at its center. Beings rotate through 6 realms of existence, ranging from gods and humans to animals and hungry ghosts, based on the weight of their past intentions. In this ancient cave temple, the concentric mandalas painted on the ceiling physically recorded the architecture of the cosmos above the Buddha. Without a profound change in understanding, all sentient beings remain trapped in this engine, cycling through different realms of existence of their own making. Shortly after his awakening, the Buddha traveled to Sarnath, the site of this massive brick stupa, to share his findings with his first 5 disciples. He presented the third noble truth, Nirvana. It is a state where the cycle of samsara is ended, and the fires of craving are completely extinguished. The way to reach this state is the fourth noble truth. The Noble Eightfold Path consists of 3 areas of practice: ethical conduct, mental concentration, and wisdom. These 3 disciplines interrupt the karmic cycle, removing the fuel that keeps the aggregates spinning. This outcome is not a matter of divine favor. It requires rigorous, self-directed reprogramming of behavior and thought to dismantle the illusion of permanent self. 2 centuries later, Buddhism expanded beyond its original geographic borders. Emperor Ashoka adopted the teachings, erecting stone pillars like this one across the Indian subcontinent to project Buddhist ethics into his imperial administration. Over the following centuries, the teachings moved along the Silk Road and maritime trade routes, branching into 3 distinct regional traditions. In Southeast Asia, Theravada became the dominant branch. It maintains a strict focus on monastic discipline and individual liberation from the cycle of rebirth. Moving into East Asia, Mahayana traditions flourished. These emphasize the bodhisattva ideal, where practitioners delay their own final nirvana to work for the collective benefit of all beings. In Tibet and the Himalayas, Vajrayana emerged as an esoteric path, championed by the Dalai Lama. While cultural rituals and appearances have diverged, all three traditions continue to transmit the foundational teachings established in the Buddha's first discourse. Today, the mental discipline of the Eightfold Path is practiced through techniques like Zazen. This seated meditation requires the practitioner to witness the constant arising of thoughts without attachment. During the 20th century, these ancient methods for training the mind migrated to the West, being adapted as tools for modern psychological health. This period saw the rise of engaged Buddhism, popularized by leaders like Thich Nhat Hanh. It rejects the idea that a practitioner should remain isolated from social and political issues. Engaged Buddhism applies internal mindfulness to external crises. The focus used on the meditation cushion is now redirected towards addressing systemic injustice and environmental collapse. The modern application of these ancient tools has shifted the focus of practice. Today, the work of awakening involves a radical engagement with the world through the combined force of clarity and compassion.
Mind precedes all mental states. Mind is their chief. They are all mind-wrought. If, with an impure mind, a person speaks or acts, suffering follows him like the wheel that follows the foot of the ox. Hatred is never appeased by hatred in this world. By non-hatred alone is hatred appeased. This is a law eternal. Though one may conquer 1,000,000 men in battle, greater still is the warrior who conquers himself. All conditioned things are subject to decay. Strive on with diligence. Let none find fault with others. Let none see the omissions and commissions of others. But let one see one's own deeds, done and undone. By oneself is evil done. By oneself is one defiled. By oneself is evil left undone. By oneself is one purified. Purity and impurity depend on oneself. No one can purify another. Not by weeping and grieving will anyone obtain peace of mind. Down to the present day, it only brings more suffering and harms the body.